fact, the last time I saw you, we were in the Oval Office and got a chance to spend some time.
And you were very open with the president about how you felt. I was like, it was a really good conversation.
I came up through these streets, now who's running the show? Me. Ha ha, he. We topping the bill now, stacking the bills now, stacking them.
All right, it's Van Jones. We are back for another episode, another installment of Be Woke Vote. I'm here representing the Messy Truth crew. I cannot wait to have this conversation because there are very few people in the world that literally just by one name, 7 billion people on the planet know exactly who you're talking about. And one of them is on set with us right now. And what people know about her, yes, you.
Oh, me?
Yes, you. Kim Kardashian in the house, by the way. We got Kim Kardashian in the house.
Wow, what a warm welcome. Thank you.
Well, no, we happy to have you here because you a household name in like igloos and stuff. It's like, on 7 continents, penguins know who you are. So but people don't know some stuff about you that I know because we work together on so many social causes and stuff like that. I think about you, I don't think about you as like a celebrity icon. I think about you as like the mom of like 3 black kids, basically, who are coming up in this world. And I think this election is coming up is a make or break. I think this election might be bigger and more important than the presidential of 2016 because this time we know what's up. Before it's like, we're not sure, maybe it'll go well, maybe it won't. I think people now have a sense of the direction, and I think people get a chance to vote as kind of up or down on the direction. The reason I want to talk to you is because you care so much about all these issues. People don't know that about you. Why do you care so much about people behind bars, about women behind bars? I mean, you've been going into prisons. You went to a women's prison. You've gone into the Trump White House twice to try to fight for people. Give people a sense behind the curtain as to why a mega celebrity like yourself would be taking this on.
It started off really simple with me just on social media looking at something that came across my feed, Alice Johnson's story, and I just feel like she found me. Like I was supposed to be looking at my phone at that exact time, found her, felt so sympathetic towards her life story.
Tell us a little bit about Miss Alice Johnson.
Yeah, she, first time nonviolent drug offender, got life without the possibility of parole, served 22 years, and really had no shot. And she played such a minimal role in the whole
drug conspiracy.
Yeah, drug conspiracy. Everyone, like she was just the phone mule. So she would just answer the phone and say a few, random words that probably didn't make sense. And she had no idea quantities, who, where, what, when. Like she knew nothing. She just was supposed to say a sentence and that was it. And she would get like $1,000 per call. Getting in the door and figuring it all out and making it happen and getting her out, I've just learned so much, and I realize how crazy messed up the system is. Yeah. And it does get overwhelming because you're like, okay, well there needs to be like bail reform, and there needs to be sentencing reform, and it's never ending.
Yes.
But to know that I have a voice and that I can change people's lives, and obviously it's so important to get as many people out as we can that aren't deserving to be there, but the laws just have to change.
Well, where do you get that from? Does your dad speak in your ear? Your dad was such a great defender of the underdog. He represented OJ. He represented so many people. Does he whisper in your ear sometimes?
I remember talking a lot about that, and I was, maybe 15, 16 when that was going on, and so he...
The OJ case.
Yeah, and later in life I had questions, when I was in my early 20s, and I would ask him like, okay, Dad, what's up with this? Like, come on, you gotta tell me. He always did the right thing, and he was like a really honorable person, and I feel like I definitely got that from him.
Well, during the OJ trial, what were you doing? I know you were a kid.
I was,
and I believe that there were some things you were poking around in. You weren't supposed to be poking around in.
Oh, well, when after the murders, OJ came to stay with us, and it was before he went to prison, and he, had his luggage and everything, and there was all this stuff on the news, like, did my dad take the Louis Vuitton bag? And it was such a thing. Everyone thought my dad reinstated his, law license just so that he would not have to testify against, his friend, which was completely not true. And so everyone made such a big deal of this Louis Vuitton bag and what's in it and where is it and it's hiding and it's, has my dad taken it and hid it? And it was just in Chloe's room. It was just in the floor and his stuff was in it from the trip that he had gone on. So of course I'm gonna go upstairs, look in the bag and look through everything. And then, at some point, I think the cops came and confiscated it. And I was like, oh shit, my fingerprints are all over this, But there was nothing in it. And so, trust me, I looked.
Yeah.
And so there's like little things like that
But I think people, they don't know you in that way. They don't think about you as being the kid of a criminal defense attorney and then all that kind of stuff. They just kind of, see you now that you're a celebrity. But
I was obsessed with it. Like all the meetings at the beginning would happen at my dad's house, and it would be, Johnny Cochran and Bob Shapiro, and just all the big players would be at our house, and OJ was staying there, and lie detector tests going on, and this, and all this stuff, and I knew where like all the evidence books were and all this stuff, and I would just at nighttime go in there and like be looking through everything, and Courtney would be like, "What are you doing? Like, get out of Dad's stuff," And I've always been fascinated with it. I always have said, I thought I would more, like if this isn't the career path that I took, I feel like I would have been like a forensic investigator or something.
Yeah, well, it's never too late. Let me just, a couple other things I'm just curious about how you see, like, your fans are younger, every young woman in America knows about you and knows who you are. If you had a chance to talk to young women in particular about the reason to vote now, what are some of the things that you wish your young female fans knew about what's at stake in November?
When I went to the march in DC and I brought my daughter, I always thought, okay, I really want to maybe have more babies. And then I was so afraid of the world, of what it has turned into, that I was like, I can't bring any more life into this world. I'm so afraid.
Wow.
And then after seeing the kids from Parkland and other schools talk about their experiences and how strong they are and how articulate they are, I swear for once I was like, okay, there's hope. Like, it's gonna be okay. These kids are gonna be our next leaders, and they really want to change the gun laws. Like, they really want a safer world. Mm-hmm. And I felt hope for once. So I know you might be young and you might not think about having kids and all that at a young age, but if I were to take myself back to my college days and think about the time when I'm gonna be a mom for my kids and the world that I want my kids to grow up in, I wish I would have voted at a younger age.
Wow, yeah, that's powerful.
Instead of just starting to get into it in my 30s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's a very powerful thing you're saying, and I think, I think people miss a whole stage of your life often when they think about you. And, all these moms of black kids are getting more political and trying to figure out what to do. How does being a mom impact you in terms of how you think about all these issues?
Oh, it changes everything. Like I said, I wouldn't vote before, we were too busy until we made it an activity and made it something fun. But now if you have kids and you think, okay, how can I make sure that I leave this earth knowing that they're gonna be okay, and know that it's so simple as voting and helping to make the world what you want it to be, and that we have that right as women now, and we're living in this time that we can do that, and it really is such a responsibility. You have such a say in shaping the world. Why wouldn't you take part in that?
I tell you what, if all the young women in the country came out and voted this time, it would send a huge message. And I think that,
absolutely.
And I think that part of the thing that I admire about you so much is that, you have built up a tolerance for criticism, for controversy, for people disagreeing with you. And you're using that strength, that superpower, to then be a heat shield to help other people. And I just think that that's a beautiful thing. It'd be very easy for you, given the arrows and bullets you've taken in public life, to just shrink your heart down and just not care and put your middle finger up against the world and say, I got my money, I got my kids, screw you. Instead, you've taken that strength and that willingness and you're doing beautiful things with it.
It takes a lot of courage, even if they don't like it, and even if they don't. I think just having the confidence to do what you want to do and you believe in is such a good quality, and it's tough. Yeah. It takes a lot of courage to do that, especially when it's against the norm or against what people don't agree with.
Yeah. The other thing I like about you, this is gonna seem a little weird.
Okay. I can handle weird.
Yeah, I'm glad. I love the way you love your husband. I love the way you love your husband.
Yeah.
Why do you love him so much? I mean, it didn't come out the right way. I mean, you love this man.
Yeah.
And
we've been through a lot together. I've known him for 15 years now. Became friends with him maybe in like 2006, 7. Met him in 2002 or 3. I've known him forever. He's put himself up against the world for me when everyone told him, you cannot date a girl with a sex tape. You cannot date a reality show girl. It's gonna ruin your career. Everyone told him that. Everyone told him that. And to me, he was like, oh, you're not gonna tell me what to do. I'll let you know that, it's gonna be okay. And he always was that strength for me. So I'll always, love and appreciate him for always standing up for me. Even like in fashion, you'll never be on the cover of a magazine. And then, amazing things have happened in that world or anyone that's ever doubted us or me, he's always been there to hold my hand and lift me up higher and give me the confidence. And so I'll always do the same for him, and
yeah, that's good. He puts the hat on. He did the on SNL, whatever. People got really upset, and I think even misunderstood something he said about the 13th Amendment. And can you explain?
Look,
to
I
people?
always say this.
Yes.
It takes him about 4 years to write a song to explain, to communicate what he wants to say. Yeah. So when he tweets something in 2 seconds, what's going on in his mind and what he thinks and what he's trying to say, he might not be the best communicator, but he has the best heart, and I know what he means, and I believe in him, and I believe that his message of what the hat represents to him is maybe different what it represents to other people, and he's very mindful about that. He doesn't maybe express that, but what it means to him is something totally different, and I trust in him that he will explain that in his own way. And so I saw something like some report that was like, Kim stood in the back and just watched while he was on SNL. I'm like, yeah, what do you want me to do? Get up on stage and sing? What do you want me to do? I listened to him. Afterwards, I might let him know that I can help him communicate that a little bit better, and we should work on that. And he's always like, oh yeah, but I already tweeted it. I'm like, well, what you tweeted isn't what you just said to me over the phone, but sometimes people don't have the long time to really hear him out and see what he has to say in the snippets. And I've seen how the media has been really crazy, and the good thing is he does not. He's so strong that he knows what he means, and the people around him knows what he means, and the people around him let him know that what he said might not be what he means, and tries to help him work on it. But I know his heart.
Yes.
So we're working on expressing that.
I love it.
He will always do what he believes, whether it's the popular thing or not. And he has said so many times, even on SNL, but I don't know if it was on because it was at the end, I do not agree with all of the policies. I don't even know all the policies. I'm not political. I'm just saying this is what this represents to me. And I will wear it because that's what I feel. He wants to fight for free thought.
You know, like I said, as I've said, you know, in the meeting that we had in the West Wing, you know, I got 99 conflicts with Jared and those guys, but prisons are not one.
Yeah.
And it's important, I think, that we try to find some common ground and work on some common ground things. And what I appreciated about Kanye when he said about the 13th Amendment, he meant the part that says you can be a slave if you're a prisoner.
Yes.
He didn't mean he wants to go back to slavery.
Yeah.
He meant more freedom.
Yes.
And so hopefully
Yes.
that'll get cleaned up and cleared up. Before you go, as we move to our close, one last thing I want to ask you is, what is your message for your fans or your supporters about this vote, about this election in November?
It is so important. I think you just have to make it a fun night. Like me and all my sisters are gonna go and do it together. And I think that you just have to find your group of friends, do a little research online. There's so much information
What if
everywhere.
you don't know everything? What if it's...
Then go, like I said, when we first would go, I went with adults that knew what they were talking about.
Just find one person who might know something.
Find one person that'll help you
Is
out.
it okay to cheat? Can you just copy all of their stuff?
No, you can't. Because like when we were voting, everyone had different opinions, and that's okay. That's what is so important. Find what you believe in, find what you want to support, and make sure you vote towards that. And that who you're voting for and what you're voting for is just authentic, and you're not following the bandwagon.
Sometimes it seems like for people who never vote, they think it might take 9 hours or whatever. It's like, I mean, you can get this done in, you know, good 10 minutes of research, and it's almost like game night. Just do it and then go turn the stuff in and be done.
I think people, if they made it a fun game night, go get ice cream after, do whatever you want to do after, hang out, go to the movies, and go vote.
Go vote. Well, hey, listen, I think that's a great way to stop. So listen, one more episode, the superstar, the amazing, I said household word on, how many continents we got? 7, 9 continents? Household name on 9 continents and some planets. Kim Kardashian in the house. Be woke, vote. See you next time. Very good.
It is so important to vote, so just be woke and vote.